Moving on to number 6 is Kathy Griffin. Alright, so they've had drama for a while now apparently. It's been an ongoing feud and it all comes down to whose side of the story you will believe. In 2016, she published a tell-all book called Kathy Griffin Celebrity Run-Ins, My A to Z Index. In the book, she dished out dirt on about more than 100 celebrities, and Ellen was one of them. She wrote, "I'm almost positive a certain beloved daytime talk show host once had me kicked out of a backstage dressing room at the Emmy Awards. I can't prove it, but this person, who has short blonde hair, has a mean streak that all of Hollywood knows about." But Ellen denies the story and says that Kathy is the mean one. Rumors were claiming that Ellen banned her from her show, but Ellen spoke about it during the interview and said, "I didn't ban her from the show, because first you have to be on the show to be banned." Shots fired! Ellen is sassy!
At number 5, A$AP Rocky. Travis Scott's unnecessary beef with Meek Mill isn't the only feud that the rapper has had, though this next one I'm going to tell you about was much bigger. Travis has been pretty aggressive with A$AP as well, and this apparently started all the way back in 2015. When arriving at an event, Travis was getting out of his car and a fan mistakenly called Travis A$AP, and the rapper reacted by lunging at the fan. He was quick to react, and this clearly upset him, but this comparison to A$AP ended up triggering Travis again the following year when he was accused by one of A$AP Mob of copying their crew's style. And as you can imagine, that just fanned the flames. I know that there have been celebrities who have had beefs with other people, but the way that these two have gone on and the way that Travis reacted towards that fan once again suggests that he has an aggressive side which could tie into the mob at his concert. Before we carry on talking about Travis Scott's actions, let me first take a moment to ask you guys to leave a like on this video and subscribe to see more videos like this one. At number 4, Shane Morris. One argument that people have been making in regards to Travis Scott's festival incident is that the rapper should have stopped the show when he saw things were getting out of hand and that he should have cared more for the fans who came to support him. But it seems as though Travis not caring for the well-being of others might not be anything new because he was exposed recently for allegedly leaving someone for dead. Travis's ex-manager Shane Morris spoke out against the rapper, claiming that he was left for dead after having a seizure. Speaking out against the rapper, Shane said, quote, "Travis Scott is the worst person I worked with in my entire career in music. 8 people are dead and hundreds more injured after Travis Scott's callous, reckless behavior at Astroworld, and I hate to be the one saying this, but I saw this coming and I tried to tell everyone. When he sees people in harm or danger, he tends to only continue thinking about himself, and to make it worse, he's been doing this for years at other concerts." End quote. Shane is the one person who actually tried to warn us about Travis, but no one listened even when he posted on Reddit saying, quote, "I'm Travis Scott's former manager, I'm the one who had a seizure, and I'm the one he left for dead in a basement in Los Angeles. I originally told my account in 2013, and then it recirculated on Reddit about 6 years ago." End quote. It's crazy to know that this could have been avoided if more people had known what was possible. At number 3, police. Now obviously this isn't a celebrity, but I thought it was important to include it on this list because it was a very important and very serious warning that Travis received but elected to ignore. It turns out that Travis was actually warned about the number of people in attendance at his music festival. The Houston police chief actually visited Travis in his trailer before the show to talk about his concern with the crowd size at the rapper's concert. Clearly, Travis didn't take this warning into consideration, and as a result, many people got hurt. 8 people passed away that night and hundreds more were injured after the crowd tried to surge onto the stage where Travis was performing. According to reports from people who were there, the crowd started to compress against the front of the stage and people started getting crushed. Once people started to get knocked down and fall unconscious, this created even more panic, and as a result, more people got hurt. The fact that the police warned the rapper about the crowd and nothing came of it shows that this was an irresponsible decision that cost people their lives. At number 2, we have Busy Phillips. Busy Phillips was one of the people who came forward with allegations against James after they worked together on the 1999 TV series Freaks and Geeks. She described the experience as a nightmare and claimed that he was a bully on set, once pushing her to the ground. She recalls the time that she was instructed to lightly hit him on the chest for a scene, and that James broke character and attacked her, grabbing both of her arms and screaming, and tossed her to the ground. She landed on her back and had the wind knocked out of her. After that moment, the two of them had dislike for one another throughout the rest of the filming process. She revealed that no punishment was ever given to him and that he got away with it because he called it part of his method acting process. His anger would sometimes turn physical, and the actress says he bullied her on and off set despite having to play his girlfriend throughout the series. And finally, at number 1, Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner has been by Travis's side for a while. They have a daughter together and they're expecting another baby, so you wouldn't think that Kylie had anything negative to say about Travis, but there is footage from the night of the Astroworld Festival that many people speculate shows that Kylie knew something wasn't right. Kylie has spoken out about the events of the festival, and seeing as she was there when everything went down, people looked to her for a response. Kylie said that she felt bad about what happened, but in footage from that night, Kylie was seen looking really concerned, suggesting that it was almost a warning that something bad was going to happen. Kylie was in a tent in the middle of the crowd watching the show, and even though everyone else who was with her was hyped up, Kylie looked to be feeling a little different as she stood there still with her hands clasped in front of her. Not really the type of body language that you would expect from someone at a concert. People said that Kylie looked nervous or sad, and this might have been before other people started noticing what was going on. It could have been a last-minute warning sign that things were about to go down. What do you guys think though? Let me know your thoughts down below. At number 6, Johnny Depp. During his libel case with the Sun publication, Johnny Depp spoke out about his ex-wife Amber Heard, obviously, and the public learned a heck of a lot about their relationship and all of the things that went wrong with their marriage. During these testimonies, Johnny talked about some of the people that Amber worked with, including James Franco, and he made an allegation against the actor that raised some red flags. In his testimony, Johnny shared that while Amber was working with James, he made many unwelcome advances towards her. Elaborating more on this, Johnny said, quote, "She told me many things that were very, very negative about Mr. Franco, that he had tried to kiss her and made sexual advances towards her on the previous film that they had made together. She said he was a creep. She said he was quite aggressive in his advances towards her," end quote. Johnny basically exposed James' alleged inappropriate behavior, but these kinds of actions on James' part aren't new and have been happening for a while. By exposing James like this, he was not only testifying for himself during this case, but he was also warning the public about James and what he is capable of. At number 5, Charlene Yi. Next up, let's talk about actress Charlene Yi and how she exposed his toxic behavior to warn us about what he's really like behind the scenes. This past spring, Charlene Yi spoke out about her experience making the film The Disaster Artist, which was directed by James Franco. The actress called out James' behavior, saying that it was inappropriate and toxic. The actress also said that she tried to quit the film after misconduct allegations were being thrown at James, but instead of letting her go, they instead tried to bribe her with a bigger role, which was the complete opposite of what she wanted. When she told the studio that this wasn't what she wanted and that she didn't feel comfortable working with James because of the allegations against him, they responded by saying that James being inappropriate like that was, quote, "so last year," end quote. In a way, Charlene warned us about James' behavior, but she also warned us about how much Hollywood protects their stars. Even with the allegations as serious as the ones James was facing, the studio was still backing him and his project up, enabling him. Now before I carry on with the video, I would like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 4, Ali Sheedy. This one is a little more subtle than others that I've mentioned so far, but it was still a warning nonetheless. Former Brat Pack actress Ali Sheedy had a lot to say about James Franco's Golden Globe win for The Disaster Artist back in 2018, and some think that her reaction to this win might have pointed to something personal. Ali sent out a couple of tweets of her reaction to James' victory, including one which read, quote, "James Franco just won, please never ask me why I left the film/TV business," end quote. Though it was just a short message, it seemed to have a lot of meaning behind it. Some people believe that Ali had a bad experience with James, and now that she's seeing him being praised by Hollywood, she can't help but be furious that he just gets to be victorious after putting other people through pain. Everyone in Hollywood already knows about the allegations that James has faced, but yet he's still working in the industry as though nothing has happened. So this could be the reason for Ali making those tweets. She could be frustrated with the industry enabling James. In our number 3 spot, we have Tyrese Gibson. Back in 2006, the two actors were working together on the movie Annapolis, and it seems like James took method acting a little bit too far. Reports say that it might be the reason why he's in such a foul mood while on set all the time. Tyrese could no longer tolerate his attitude, and it caused some tension between the two of them. Things got so intense between them that after the movie was over, Tyrese said that he never enjoyed James' company while working together, and that he wouldn't want to work with him again. Because there was a lot of fighting in the movie, apparently James spent a lot of time in the gym and training hard for the scenes. But when actually filming the scenes, Tyrese said that he would physically take the fighting too far and made him question if he was even acting. The tension caused some arguments between them on set, and by the end of the movie, a lot of the crew was wondering if James was ever method acting. At number 2, Travis Scott. A lot of people were surprised at the event of Travis Scott's music festival. So many others had been asking how could something like this happen, but the thing is, this isn't the first time one of Travis's shows has gone out of hand, and this recent one was just the most deadly. Travis had another very unruly show back in 2017, and as a result of the madness that ensued at that show, Travis faced legal repercussions. The rapper faced 3 misdemeanor charges of inciting a riot, disorderly conduct, and endangering the welfare of a minor, after he told his fans to rush the stage, just like how they did at the Astroworld Festival. On top of that, in Travis's 2018 song Stargazing, he commented on how unruly he likes his fans to get at concerts, saying, quote, "It ain't a mosh pit if ain't no injuries," end quote. Looking back on all of this, one could say that Travis totally warned us about himself because his actions proved it all. The fact that he is encouraging rushing the stage, causing people to get hurt in the past, and talking about people getting injured in a mosh pit kind of says a lot about him. On top of that, Travis has already gotten in trouble because people got hurt at his 2017 concert, and yet he didn't learn from that incident and incited another rush that ended a lot worse than the last one. Travis is now in even more trouble than ever before, and he brought that on himself. We just should have seen it coming. And finally, at number 1, we have Seth Rogen. You know things are bad when one of your best friends no longer wants to work with you. The two of them have teamed up numerous times for different movies, and off-screen they have a close friendship for many years. But following James's misconduct allegations, Seth revealed that he can no longer work with him and does not support the behavior brought up in the allegations. He actually revealed during a 2018 interview that he regrets saying that he would still work with him following the initial allegations, because at first he stood by his side as a co-star and a friend. But a few months ago in May 2021, he admitted his opinion and feelings on the subject had changed. He said he regrets ever saying that he would still work with him, and said that he has not worked with him ever since and does not plan to in the future. He said it was officially the end of their professional relationship.
Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Mariah Carey. The two ladies have had a friendship for many years, but there was a moment in their friendship where Ellen's humor proved to go too far. The big debate with comedians is, are their jokes funny or are they actually mean? Mariah believes that this one was a bit mean, but she did handle it well despite the fact. What happened was she went on Ellen's show to do an interview, and Ellen brought up the rumors that were going around at the time that Mariah might be pregnant. Right away, Mariah says, "Let's not talk about that." But then Ellen takes out 2 glasses of champagne and tries to force her to drink it to prove that she's not pregnant. Mariah is hesitant, and it might be because she was in her early stages of pregnancy at the time, and oftentimes females don't want to reveal it because in the first trimester, miscarriages are common. Sadly, Mariah did have a miscarriage and revealed the news later down the road. I personally watched this video and I did not find it funny. I feel like forcing someone to drink alcohol to prove if they're pregnant or not, like, I get the joke, but probably not a good one, Ellen. Up next, number 9 is Dakota Johnson. Back in 2019, the actress sparked a fire on the internet after she went on the Ellen show for an interview. The two of them have had this ongoing debate on whether or not Ellen has been invited to Dakota's birthday parties. In 2018, Dakota admits that she didn't invite Ellen because she didn't know that she would want to be invited. So she invited Ellen in 2019, but Ellen didn't show up and gave no explanation. But when Dakota went on her show, Ellen called her out and said that she didn't invite her to her birthday party again. The tension was super awkward to watch, I'm not gonna lie. And Dakota says, "Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen. Ask everybody. Ask Jonathan, your producer." Ellen's producer live ends up confirming that she was invited and didn't go. You can tell that Dakota was not taking Ellen's this time and was making sure that everyone knew that she was invited. Not sure why Ellen was trying to make it look like she wasn't, but the whole thing was super, super awkward. Like, I wish they could have just removed that whole part from the interview. Swiping the number 8 spot is Mark Ruffalo. You're probably wondering what the hell kind of beef he has with Ellen. It all just seems very random, not gonna lie, and it kind of is. Remember when the world went to a frenzy because Ellen was sitting with George Bush at a Dallas Cowboys game? She received a ton of hate for it, but did a monologue on her show where she said that they are friends despite their different beliefs. Like she always does, she spoke about kindness and said that she chooses to be kind to everyone. But Mark didn't agree with that and let his feelings out in a tweet. He wrote, "Sorry, until George W. Bush is brought to justice for the crimes of the the Iraq War, including American-led torture, Iraqi deaths and displacement, and the deep scars, emotional and otherwise, inflicted on our military that served his folly. We can't even begin to talk about kindness. Clearly, he does not agree with Ellen's decision on who she chooses to have in her friend circle. Rolling into number 7 is Kelly Ripa. She was one half of the morning show's favorite couples. Her and Michael Strahm were co-hosting Live with Kelly and Michael from 2012 to 2016. But then Michael suddenly announced that he was leaving the show to join ABC's Good Morning America, and his relationship with Kelly began to crumble. Most hosts decided to remain neutral on the conflict, but Ellen invited him on her show, which hurt Kelly's feelings. Source said that Kelly was livid and said, I quote, "Cozying up with Michael was like telling the world she had taken his side and she was taunting Kelly." People had different opinions on the situation though. Some believe that Ellen's decision wasn't intentional, while others thought that she knew what kind of outcome would come from it.
At number 6, Meek Mill. People's actions can say a lot about someone. If they're generally unproblematic, then you can safely assume that they're probably a pretty decent person. If they're not getting into fights with other people or causing much drama, then that's one thing, but if someone gets into public fights or has unnecessary beefs with people, that can cause some people to reconsider someone's character. This idea can kind of go for Travis Scott because he's been known to get into beefs with other people in Hollywood and specifically in the music industry. It could say a lot about the kind of person that he is. Back in the summer of this year, Travis reportedly got into some kind of beef with Meek Mill and they got into a physical altercation. Over the 4th of July weekend, sources said that the two rappers were seen fighting at a party. This wasn't any old barbecue though, because there were a number of A-list celebrities in attendance as well, like Beyonce and Jay-Z, Lil Baby, Quavo, Meg Thee Stallion, and Bon Jovi. Just because he was in a higher class setting, that didn't make Travis back down from a fight, and he got into an altercation with Meek, and it got so heated that they had to pull them away from each other. No one knows why they were fighting, but this just didn't seem like the place to be hashing things out. Travis is known to be a bit of an aggressive person, which we will discuss later, but this altercation with Meek Mill could have been a warning that Travis can escalate things, which could explain how things escalated so much at his festival.
Halfway into our list, number 5 is Caitlyn Jenner. Back in 2015, Caitlyn went on Ellen's show and made a shocking confession, or so it seemed. During her interview, Ellen asked her what her stance was on same-sex marriage, and she said that there was a time that she did not support it. Ellen fired back at her immediately and made it seem like she wasn't supportive of the LGBTQ community. And then, after the interview, Ellen took shots at Caitlyn while talking on the Howard Stern show. She said she was unfairly passing judgment about gay people and marriage. But it turns out that that wasn't the case, and Caitlyn was not happy that she was trying to paint her in that light. Caitlyn opened up about the full story and said that she had actually talked to Ellen on the phone prior to taping the interview and convinced her to discuss her shifting stance on marriage equality. But then Ellen kind of flipped the switch on her during the interview and made it sound like she was against it. That all does seem pretty sketchy. And at number 4 is Joan Rivers. The icon has passed away and is not able to speak on her side of the story anymore, but Kathy Griffin chose to tell it, which is also one of the reasons that her and Ellen still aren't very friendly with each other. Kathy opened up to Variety and said, "One of the things that really hurt Joan, and we talked about it at our last meal together, was that Ellen always shunned her and Ellen thought she was vulgar and not funny." Apparently, despite all of their drama, Kathy still reached out to Ellen to check if she was going to do a tribute for Joan after she died in 2014, but claims said that Ellen did not want to. Kathy finished her story by saying that she wished Ellen would have celebrated her more because she has such an incredible platform, and Joan was the one who broke the glass ceiling for women talk show hosts. So she should have gave like a really nice tribute to her, is what most people believe. Coming into number 3 is Nikki Tutorials. The YouTuber went on Ellen's show for an interview earlier this year and was quick to go on the internet and start sharing how bad her experience was. Like Ellen, Nikki's also a big influence in the LGBTQ community after coming out as transgender on her channel. Before her interview, she gushed online about how excited she was to go on the show because she was a big fan of hers. But after the airing, she said that Ellen didn't even say hi to her before going on stage and said that the whole experience just felt very cold and distant. She also admitted that she didn't even have a place to go to the bathroom, claiming that the closest bathroom to her was reserved for the Jonas Brothers and that she was not allowed to use it. I feel like that's kind of illegal. Where was she going to the bathroom then? Swiping the number 2 spot is Susan Sarandon. She too did not agree with Ellen's speech about being friends with George W. Bush. When Ellen spoke about the controversy on her show, she said, "I have friends who don't think the same things that I do. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people who think the same way you do. I mean be kind to everyone." Susan tweeted a response and posted a quote from Out magazine saying, "But missing the point entirely, DeGeneres framed the issues as simply a matter of her hanging out with someone with different opinions, not a man repeatedly accused of being a war criminal." Clearly, I just think that everyone's gonna have their own opinion on that situation. If Ellen can pick and choose if she's friends with George Bush or if she's not. Yeah, I feel like that everyone's gonna have a different opinion on that. And I'm gonna keep mine to myself. In the number 1 spot is Kevin T. Porter. You know things are bad when a comedian offers donations online in exchange for stories about Ellen being one of the meanest people alive. His words, not mine. That is right. Kevin tweeted out that he would donate to Los Angeles Regional Food Bank if people would share a story when Ellen was mean to them. He quickly got over 2,000 replies with people sharing stories of her being rude. He was wanting to show everyone that Ellen is not what she appears to be and thought if people could see all of these stories at once, it would help shed some light on that. He was exchanging $2 for every story, but then it got hard to tell which stories were real or not, so he just donated $600 and then attached the screenshot of his receipt. So he actually did donate the money. However, I feel like you are going above and beyond to try and expose someone for being mean. And isn't that kind of mean?